What if the beloved tubs of Ben& Jerry's we know today almost disappeared forever? Behind the brand's quirky flavors and social activism lies a nail-biting saga of survival, filled with fierce corporate battles, ethical dilemmas, and a relentless fight to preserve its mission. The truth is, the company didn't just face challenges, it stood on the brink of losing its identity to powerful corporate interests. Yet against all odds, Ben& Jerry's emerged stronger, proving that values-driven businesses can thrive in a cutthroat world. But how did this ice cream giant manage to protect its soul while navigating intense financial and legal pressures? The answer is as shocking as it is inspiring. Welcome, this is the Roots to Riches channel, where the journey of success unfolds. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notifications so you never miss out on incredible stories about how the biggest companies in the world began, their toughest challenges, and the inspiring road they took to greatness. Plus, we'll be sharing life-changing tips along the way. Your support is key to growing this channel. Please share these stories with your friends, family, and anyone looking for inspiration. Thanks for being part of the journey. Imagine this, two childhood friends with big dreams, but absolutely no idea how to run a business. Sounds like a recipe for disaster, right? Well, throw in some ice cream, a lot of mistakes, and a sprinkle of determination, and you get the roller coaster story of Ben& Jerry's. Today, we'll dive into how this iconic ice cream brand nearly melted into bankruptcy, and who helped scoop them out of trouble. This is a story of failure, survival, and the promise that even when things look bleak, there's always hope. So, grab a pint, sit back, and let's dig in. Ben Cohen and Jerry Greenfield weren't exactly your typical entrepreneurs. In fact, when they started Ben& Jerry's, they didn't even want to be ice cream moguls. Jerry dreamed of being a doctor but couldn't get into med school, while Ben had a knack for crafting pottery but struggled to find work. They were just two regular guys looking for something fun and, let's be honest, a way to pay the bills. Imagine this. It's the late 1970s. Ben Cohen and Jerry Greenfield are in their 20s, cramped into a tiny apartment with peeling wallpaper, fluorescent lighting, and a stubborn radiator that only makes the room slightly warmer than the freezing Vermont winter outside. On the coffee table between them, a growing stack of rejection letters, college admissions, job applications, maybe even a few half-hearted attempts at securing loans. And next to that sad pile is a half-empty pint of store-bought ice cream, slowly melting in its tub. Jerry lets out a long sigh, pokes at the ice cream with a spoon, and says, "You know what's better than getting rejected?" Ben, who's lying on the couch with his head tilted back, lazily responds, "What?" Jerry perks up, a faint smile creeping across his face. "Eating ice cream." Ben smirks, picking up on the shift in Jerry's tone. He sits up and grabs the pint. "What if we made our own?" he says, gesturing at the container. "I mean, how hard could it be?" Cue a long silence, the type of silence where you know something big is about to happen. Finally, Jerry raises an eyebrow. "Hard enough that nobody else is doing it?" "Exactly." Ben jumps up, waving his hands like he's just solved a mystery. "We don't need anyone to say yes. We say yes to ourselves. Let's do this. Ice cream. Our ice cream." Famous last words, Jerry mutters under his breath, shaking his head but smiling anyway. And so began their journey. With a whopping $12,000 in funding, half scraped together from their savings, half borrowed, they went all in. First, they took a $5 correspondence course on ice cream making from Penn State. $5, the equivalent of a modern-day YouTube tutorial, but with a certificate. Then, they set out to transform an old, dilapidated gas station in Burlington, Vermont, into their very first scoop shop. The gas station wasn't much to look at, but it was theirs. They painted it with cheerful colors, filled it with quirky decorations, and started experimenting with flavors that no one else dared to try. "What if we added giant chunks of chocolate?" Ben said one day. "What about whole brownies?" Jerry countered. The results were delicious and wildly different from the smooth, boring ice cream dominating the market. On their opening day in 1978, a small crowd lined up outside, curious about the two scrappy young guys selling ice cream in the middle of Burlington. It was the start of something magical, not just a business, but a brand built on fun, creativity, and a whole lot of heart. Years later, Ben would joke, We didn't know what we were doing, but we sure had a lot of fun figuring it out. Jerry would add, and eating a lot of ice cream along the way didn't hurt either. At first, things were undeniably sweet, literally and figuratively. Ben & Jerry's funky flavors like Chunky Monkey and Cherry Garcia were an instant hit, charming customers with their rich, creamy taste and creative mix-ins. People lined up at their scoop shop in Burlington, Vermont, not just for ice cream, but for the quirky, feel-good vibe the two friends radiated. Ben & Jerry were onto something special. But as with many entrepreneurial journeys, the road to success wasn't all smooth scoops and sprinkles. For all their creativity and charm, Ben & Jerry were not business wizards. They knew ice cream, not spreadsheets. Managing money? That was a whole different ballgame. Overspending became their trademark, lavishing cash on high-quality ingredients, eccentric marketing, and their now iconic whimsical brand. Sound familiar? Anyone else ever splurge on something they couldn't really afford? Picture this: an oversized neon sign shaped like a cow, glowing vibrantly in the corner of their scoop shop. Jerry, staring at the electric bovine. Did we really need to spend $2,000 on a cow-shaped neon sign? Ben, unbothered, grins. Of course, it's marketing. Well, turns out you can't neon sign your way out of debt. By the late 1980s, despite being wildly popular, Ben & Jerry's finances were melting faster than a scoop on a hot summer day. They were hemorrhaging money. Overspending on ingredients was one thing, but then came the real challenges: distribution problems, supply chain headaches, and the relentless competition of the ice cream giants. The most bitter rivalry of all? Häagen-Dazs. Unlike Ben & Jerry's lighthearted branding, Häagen-Dazs played the part of the smooth, sophisticated big brother in the premium ice cream world. Behind the scenes, the competition was anything but polite. In the mid-1980s, Häagen-Dazs, owned by Pillsbury at the time, tried to strong-arm distributors into refusing to carry Ben & Jerry's. The scheme, cheekily nicknamed the Häagen-Dazs boycott, led to a fiery legal battle. Ben & Jerry, true to their underdog spirit, didn't back down. Instead, they turned the fight into a rallying cry, launching the now famous "What's the Doughboy Afraid Of" campaign. It was a David and Goliath moment for the brand. Two scrappy ice cream makers taking on a corporate titan with humor, grit, and plenty of scoops. While their legal win helped them stay on shelves, the financial struggles didn't vanish overnight. Balancing their quirky vibe with business realities was a constant learning curve. Yet, through trial and error and a lot of ice cream taste tests, they found their rhythm. Their story became a testament to resilience, creativity, and sheer love for what they did. Looking back, Ben might joke, "Sure, we made mistakes, but at least our mistakes were delicious." Jerry, laughing, might add, "And hey, the neon cow looked great, didn't it?" Yep, you heard that right. It was David versus Goliath, except David was drowning in melted ice cream and overdue bills. Cherry Garcia and Chunky Monkey was teetering on the edge of disaster. Ben & Jerry's was beloved for its funky branding, social consciousness, and undeniably delicious ice cream. But behind the scenes, the financial picture was grim. Years of rapid expansion, overspending, and operational inefficiencies had left the company drowning in debt. Freewheeling creativity and a refusal to compromise on quality were great for the brand's identity, but terrible for its bottom line. As the red ink piled up, the two childhood friends, Ben Cohen and Jerry Greenfield, faced a gut-wrenching decision. They had two choices: close their doors forever or bring in outside help. Quick pause. If you're finding this video helpful, why not share it with someone who could benefit too? A simple recommendation from you means more than anything and helps our community grow. Can you imagine handing over your dream to someone else just to keep it alive? Ben later mused. The pressure was crushing. Ben slumped in his chair one evening, looking defeated. "I feel like we're failing everyone who believed in us," he said quietly. Jerry, ever pragmatic, tried to hold on to a shred of optimism. "But if we don't do something, there won't be a Ben & Jerry's," he replied. The two friends didn't just see their company as a business. To them, it was a movement, a force for good in the world. It wasn't just about selling ice cream. It was about proving that capitalism could have a heart. But if they didn't act fast, everything they had built could melt away in the harsh heat of reality. That's when they made one of the hardest decisions of their lives. They would hire an outsider, to save the company. Enter Bob Holland. Bob wasn't your typical corporate executive. A Harvard MBA graduate with a wealth of business experience, he was also someone who believed in the power of purpose-driven business. He wasn't interested in tearing down Ben & Jerry's quirky culture or scrapping its social values. On the contrary, he saw those values as the company's secret weapon. Bob wasn't just any businessman, Jerry would later recall. He was someone who believed in our quirky, socially conscious spirit. With Bob at the helm, the turnaround began. One of his first moves was to streamline operations. He cut down on inefficiencies, improved distribution channels, and introduced financial discipline without stifling the creative spark that had made the brand iconic. But his most transformative contribution wasn't operational, it was conceptual. Bob leaned into the company's strengths and helped them launch a bold new vision, the Ben & Jerry's social mission. They decided that they weren't just selling ice cream, they were selling hope. A portion of their profits would be donated to social causes, like protecting the environment, promoting peace, and advocating for social justice. They didn't stop there. Ben & Jerry's also began actively hiring people who faced barriers to employment, such as former convicts and those experiencing homelessness. We wanted to show that business could be a force for good, Ben said, that we could change the world one scoop at a time. The result? Customers fell in love all over again, not just with the ice cream, but with the story. People felt good about buying Ben & Jerry's because every pint was a symbol of something bigger. Smiling employees, scooping out flavors with names like Peace Pop and Fish Food, became ambassadors for the brand's values. Customers saw more than ice cream. They saw an opportunity to make a difference, one delicious bite at a time. And you know what? Jerry said, reflecting on those transformative years. People loved it. Sales skyrocketed, and soon, Ben & Jerry's wasn't just surviving, it was thriving. Today, Ben & Jerry's is more than a household name. It's a movement, a proof point that you can stay true to your values, stand up for what's right, and still succeed in the cutthroat world of business. The story of Ben & Jerry's isn't just a tale of two friends who started an ice cream shop. It's a testament to resilience, creativity, and the belief that doing good and doing well aren't mutually exclusive. So, what can we learn from Ben & Jerry's journey? First, mistakes are inevitable. Whether you're starting a business, switching careers, or even just trying to get through a tough time, you're going to stumble. But failure isn't the end, it's just a stepping stone. Ben & Jerry's almost lost everything, but they leaned on their community, adapted, and found their purpose. And hey, if these two guys, who once burnt waffles for a living, can build an empire, so can you. Ben & Jerry's isn't just an ice cream brand. It's a reminder that even when things seem hopeless, there's always a way forward. So, if you're going through your own struggles, whether it's financial trouble, a career setback, or just feeling like you're stuck, remember this. You have what it takes to turn it around. And who knows, maybe your comeback story will inspire someone else, just like Ben & Jerry's inspired millions. What's your next step toward success? Think about it while you dig into your favorite pint of ice cream. And hey, don't forget to laugh along the way. Their survival is more than just a corporate drama. It's a testament to the power of resilience, vision, and uncompromising principles. From narrowly avoiding a hostile takeover to fiercely guarding its social mission after being acquired by Unilever, the company's journey is proof that doing good doesn't have to mean sacrificing success. The shocking truth? It was the very values that made Ben & Jerry's unique. Its commitment to fairness, sustainability, and social justice that became its greatest weapon in the fight for survival. Today, every scoop is a reminder of the battles fought and the legacy preserved. Drop a comment below and share the biggest mistake you've turned into a success. And if this story inspired you, hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs a little encouragement today. See you next time.